acknowledge that police officer. Why? Well, because anytime you're in trouble or you need help, they are going to be the ones that you call, and they are going to be the ones that first come up to you to help. Why? Every day to this day, even now, even this morning, I see a police officer. I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, a head nod. If they're on construction, I give them a wave, no matter what. Okay? My interactions with police officers over the years have been more positive, or at least neutral, than negative. But typically, like in basketball, the games that I remember are the ones that I lose, more so than the ones that I've won. Typically, the negative interactions speak louder to me, in my mind, than those positive and neutral ones. So I'm going to walk you through some of those instances. I have one more page. Sorry, this is me at Christmas. Just before I started working at Brooks, maybe 2003, I just graduated college, but I hadn't found a job yet, so I wasn't here. 2003, 2004, I was in Faneuil Hall, and this was around the time that cell phones had just had camera phones on them, just the first one. They weren't even like real text messages like you have. They call them like SMS text messages. Weren't even the same thing. And you have to like pay per text messages, not the same thing that you guys have right now. So I had one of the first camera phones, and I'm walking through Faneuil Hall. And lying down on the ground, in the middle of the ground, and again, Faneuil Hall like 12:30, there's a bunch of drunk people out there, and lying down on the ground was a kid. He must have been, I don't know, 21, 22, 23 years old. He's lying down, passed out on the ground. So me, young Jones, walk up with my phone, start snapping away pictures, right? And I'm like, oh man, look at this. This kid is down on the ground. I'm thinking it's funny. I'm young, I was naked, but my brain wasn't fully developed yet. So snapping pictures, I'm like, look at this, talking about what there's this kid's on the ground. And as soon as that happened, his girlfriend reaches and snatches my phone. Now I just bought the phone. I just bought it. And she was like, you bleep and bleep. If you don't bleep and get out of here, we're taking pictures. And I was like, okay, yes, I'm wrong. Please don't break my phone or else we're gonna have another issue. So I'm thinking she's gonna throw my phone. And she hands me back the phone. And as I'm looking down to grab the phone out of my hand, boom! I get hit, like as if I was playing football. Hit so hard. I remember I had a Nike white-on-white Air Force One. And it flew off of my foot. Up in the air. Flew right off of my foot. And I'm on my back. And standing over me is a police officer. You don't get out of there. So now I'm lying. Now, again, all this happened so quickly. I'm laying on my back looking up. And he's like, if you don't get out of here right now, I'm going to have you arrested. Make sure you tell your friends. And he's yelling at me. And so now in my brain, I'm like, all right, I don't know what I did to deserve this. So I get all my friends, again, young Jones, I get my friends pretty interesting in itself. Again, around this time, probably my first few years working at Brooks, I'm driving down Sutton Street. If you don't know where Sutton Street is, it's, let's say you are going towards Lawrence, but you pass by like the China Blossom, so bear that right, and so you go past like that little airport that's on your right, and you head down, and there's like the train tracks if you go too far over, but then there's a Richdale on your left. I'm coming back the opposite way, I don't know, 3:45 in the afternoon, driving by there, there's a police officer right on the right-hand side, pulls out from right behind me, pulls me over, and says, do you know why I pulled you over? And I said, no. He said, you were speeding. I said, oh, okay, how fast was I going? You were going 35. What's the speed limit? It's 30, license and registration. Okay, cool. All right, guess I'm speeding. I broke the law. Give him my license, give him my registration. As soon as he sees my license, he sees that I work at Brooks School. Oh, you work at Brooks School? Oh, I had no idea. Gives me back my license immediately and says, hey, have a nice day. And moves on. Couldn't have been pulled over for more than 30 seconds at that time. Okay, I find that interesting. Earlier this year, okay, I'm bringing T home. Right, T asked me to bring him to Lowell, and it was about, again, 3:45-ish. Bring him to Lowell, and so I have to hit 495 South, and so we hit 495 South. All right, to go. Now, earlier this year, if you don't know anything, my car was smashed in the parking lot. I'm not going to tell you who it was. So I smashed in my car in the parking lot, so I had to get a rental car, and I was driving a Nissan. Okay? And I'm driving a Nissan, and I'm bringing T home. And I wish T was here because he would corroborate this. I'm driving with T, and you know anything about 345, 495 South? There's a lot of cars. There's dozens of cars in each lane. Okay, dozens of cars in each lane. And I'm in the left-hand lane. I'll be going 70. And there's a parked SUV police officer on the right-hand side. And as I'm driving by, I look, and I make eye contact with the police officer 4 lanes over. I promise you. And I looked at T, and I said, T, the cop and I just made eye contact. I bet you he comes and pulls me over. About a minute later, okay, there are about 3 cars behind me, and there's lights on, and the car moves over to the next lane, and the car behind that moves over to the next lane, the car behind me moves over to the next lane. So I move over to the next lane, and who moves behind me? The police officer. All right, that's pretty interesting. Now, this is a time, again, where, you know, things are volatile, especially early on in the year, talking about the Black Lives Matter movement and all this good stuff. So I say, T, I've never done this before. I want you to record this. Record this. He goes, really? You want me to? I said, yeah, record. Record what happens. We're going to play for you what happened in that car at that day.
The right policies in place, and they're taking the right steps to make sure that their weapons are
They're actually suing in the Suffolk Superior Court, arguing that.
Hey, how we doing?
Well, thank you. What's up?
License registration?
My license is in the back seat, sir.
Oh, okay.
Mind if I reach
You
for
want
it?
to grab it? Or?
Yeah.
Okay,
Can I?
good. That's fine. This your car?
Now, notice when he asked license registration. My license was in the back seat of my car. Now I'm nervous. Right? I'm nervous. Never been nervous before, but I'm like, if I reach for anything and he thinks it's something else other than the license, this could get interesting. So I move slowly. Now, as I'm reaching in the back, and again, I understand police protocol. When you pull somebody over, you never know who you're pulling over. So they have to be leery of who they're pulling over. He has his hand on his holster as I'm in the back, or as I'm grabbing for my stuff in the back seat. But you can't see that right now. You can go ahead, please. Thank you.
Whose car is this?
It's a rental.
Oh, rental, okay. The rental in your name, or?
It is.
Okay. I just pulled you over for left lane violation. Left lane's a passing lane only. I don't know if you've seen all the signs that have been up.
I didn't notice I wasn't passing anyone.
Oh, okay.
You grab the registration.
Where you guys headed to?
Dropping him off.
All right. Is this your buddy or something?
No, I'm a teacher at Brooks School.
Oh, okay.
And I'm his dorm parent. You could say. I don't know. Check the Nissan. I have no idea.
working many times here in Massachusetts, and we need to understand exactly what.
Sorry, where are you dropping him off? You said it at his
Lowell.
house?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Do you have the rental? I just need the rental agreement. Yeah.
The rental agreement. You can check in there, but I don't. No, I wouldn't be it. Where would I put the rental agreement?
All right, you said this thing's in your name?
It is.
All right, I'll take your word for it. Just make sure you're carrying a rental agreement on you, because if not,
I
it's
don't even remember them.
use without authority, you know what I mean?
No, that makes sense.
All right, man, sorry to
That makes
bother you guys,
sense. No
all right?
worries about it. Thank
Take
you
care.
very much. Appreciate it.
Regulators, we don't even really do need to be.
Okay, pulled over for not passing cars and being in the left-handed lane. Well, every lane was full. I'm pretty sure I was passing cars. But in my mind, my perception is that since we made eye contact, I knew he was going to pull me over. I knew it. Felt it. Seen it in his eyes. And he had to fight around a bunch of cars. I can understand speeding, maybe. I get it. Reckless driving, I get it. All right. But maybe I was in the wrong. I'm not saying that I wasn't. Maybe I wasn't passing cars in the corner. That's fine. I'm going to show you another article right now, and I'm going to highlight a few things for you. The city, detective shot, suspect is killed. I want you to take a look at the date, September 20th, 1982. And I'll read this for you. A detective was shot yesterday afternoon as he was trying to arrest two men in the East New York section of Brooklyn. The detective and another officer returned fire, killing one suspect. According to Sergeant Tom Fay, the detective, Joseph Hughes, was listed in stable condition at Baptist Medical Center in Brooklyn with a left wound in his leg. Detective Hughes and Officer Frank Shea were investigating a report that two men in an orange Volvo had fired at another man. Sergeant Fay said when they spotted the car at 12:30 p.m. Detective Hughes approached the car and a shot was fired. The police said the officers then opened fire, killing one suspect. Sergeant Fahey said. The police said that they had found a 12-gauge sawed-off shotgun and a .45 caliber handgun near the car. The dead man was tentatively described or identified as Junior Smithson of 533 Crescent Avenue. The police arrested the other man in the car, Trevor Wright, 29 of 394 Van Sicklen Street. Sergeant Fahey said. Great, there's a bunch of information. You're like, oh, why does that matter? I want you to go to the next one, please, and just show them this video. Now, in a second, when Pat asked me, what does the Black Lives Matter movement mean to you? It had me going back and doing some research just a little bit. And I came across this. And this is a trailer called The 7-5. And I'll talk a little bit more about that after you watch it.
New York is in the grips of a crime wave.
It was like the heyday of crack.
It was violent, man.
Homicides, robberies, rapes. It was a war zone.
East New York, Brooklyn, 7-5 precinct, the deadliest precinct in the country. Who did I burn to get put here? It would scare Clint Eastwood.
When I first went to the precinct, I hear about this guy, Mike Dowd.
Mikey's just crazy.
Michael Dow was a crook who ended up wearing a cop's uniform.
He was a criminal.
Once in a generation, corrupt cop.
I consider myself both a cop and a gangster.
Forget about Beverly Hills and all that other stuff. The ghetto is one of the richest neighborhoods there is.
Maybe there's some way we can make money from this.
La Compañía. It's a very serious Dominican gang.
$24,000 in our hands to talk.
Mike was of rain. Say no problem.
In his business, if you mess up, you got killed.
I'm a New York City cop. I'm taking a risk of going to jail for a long period of time. And you're gonna short me a dime?
His word against mine. And I'm a cop. I'd break your neck if your neck needs a breaking.
I had 3 machines counting money, and there's still not enough time.
Everybody on the floor now!
There's no becoming a cop again.
You're gonna have me killed.
We knew we were up against a really tough crew.
A month ago, I was a regular cop, and now I'm a criminal.
That's what they taught us in the police academy. Got a guy in the front, a guy in the back, got an entry team.
You felt like you were God.
The normal person that's doing wrong is going to have a fear of being caught.
I never had a fear about getting busted.
Michael Dowd did not have any fear.
The because the cops around me would never give me up.
You can go back to the article for me, please. Why does that matter? Well, take a look at this. This happened at the 7-5 precinct in the East New York section of Brooklyn during the 1980s. If you want to read down a little bit further, the dead man tentatively identified as Junior Smithson. Go to the next one, please. That's my father. That's my dad, who I've never met. Happened in 1982. I was born July 1981. I find it interesting because this is something that I've had to sort of learn and live with this story and not know too much about it. But my perception of everything that goes on that's been happening, especially in recent times with cameras and all that other good stuff, right? Did this happen to my father? Well, I'll give you some more context with that. Okay? Can you go back to the story again for me, please? Let's go back. They had spotted, Detective Hughes or investigator reported that 2 men in an orange Volvo had fired at another man. That was earlier in the day. So that's a story that you read in the New York Times. The story that my family told. Now, my father wasn't a saint. You know what he did? I'll tell you what he did. Was he a criminal? Sure. He owned a store in which he sold weed. He owned the store in which weed was sold from it. I take that back. Why is that important? Because he was never in that store. He was just the front man for it. Okay? So he owned it and had people run it and whatever. So was he a criminal? Sure. He deserved to be arrested? Sure. What happened was, according to my family, was that the police tried to extort him. These same policemen from the 75th precinct went up and said, you need to pay us in order to keep this store here. He said, no, I'm not doing it. So they said, okay. And they had brought him out. My father was inside his home, and this man, Trevor Wright, and somebody else had just shot at somebody earlier in the day. They had found Trevor and said, okay, if you can get Junior outside of the house, right, we'll let you go. Junior went and found my father. My father was sitting in the passenger side of the orange Volvo. Okay. Don't know about it. What happened with guns or anything else? I wasn't there. I don't know. No idea. What I do know is that my father was left with 100 entry and exit bullet wounds. So much that his body lay outside of the driver's side window from him trying to escape. He sat in the passenger side. He didn't have an open casket funeral. It was too gruesome. Now again, this is just my perception. I wasn't there. I don't know. Now you do know, okay, there have been a bunch of high-profile police killings since 2014 involving black suspects. All right, you're familiar with the more prominent names and cases: Freddie Gray in Baltimore, right? Walter Scott, South Carolina, Alton Sterling, Louisiana. All right, Michael Brown, Ferguson, Michael Brown, Eric Garner, New York City, and just recently, over this past Saturday, Jordan Edwards, 15 years old, a Dallas area native, who was trying to leave a house party that had gotten out of control, but he would never make it home that night because as he sat in his car, a police officer shot and killed him. Now, the police officer stated that the car that he was in was backing up towards him. And so the police officer said he opened fire in order to protect his life until they reviewed the body camera. And the body camera showed that the car was actually leaving. And the police officer said, oh, he recanted his statement and said, oh, I was remiss. I misspoke. My father falls into the even longer category of those stories that goes untold to the masses. There were no cameras back then, right? Whether right or wrong, good or bad, justified or not, in some of these cases, there's a child left behind, and I'm one of them. The difference is in my case is that I'm ignorant in knowing what it's like to have my real father around. I don't know any different. It's always been this way for me. My mother's played such an incredible role in my life that words don't even qualify or quantify enough to ever give her enough credit. That's a whole nother novel for a whole nother time. It's a whole nother chapel.
With all of that said, please don't get me wrong. I'm not here to vilify police officers. I actually like and respect and admire and appreciate the selfless service of law enforcement. Not all police officers are bad. I'll even say that euphemistically. The vast majority of police officers are great people. But when you blend my life experiences and issues and instances that have been rearing their heads at such a blistering pace in recent times in the United States, with technology being so readily available and people being able to see it, it gives me pause. Was everything stated in that New York Times article about my father true or false? Or were they a blend of both? There were no cameras back then like we have now. All you get is eyewitness accounts and police statements. The 7-5 clearly depicted, and if you watch it, it's a documentary, and admits to the institutional corruption going on in the most corrupt precinct, probably in the United States history at that time. My family claims that my father was set up and framed and intentionally led to his death. But these things paint my reality. Those perceptions of what I've seen and what I've experienced paint my reality. I'll give you a few quotes from The Vox, which Ms. Shaniel had me read yesterday, and it was pretty good. Based on nationwide data collected, Black Americans are more than twice as likely as their white counterparts to be killed by police when accounting for population. There was a study by a man named Josh Carell, who's a doctor at the University of Colorado Boulder, who's a psychology professor, a social psychology professor, who believes racial bias is a factor. And he had a study that showed police officers are quicker to shoot black suspects in video game situations or video game simulations. And so he has a video game and it shows whether or not, a white suspect coming out and they might have something. But even through this little video game, black suspects are shot faster than their white counterparts. Just watching the NBA playoffs yesterday, and there was a commercial that came on with Charles Barkley. I love quoting Chuck, because Chuck has a lot of quotables. And Chuck said, it's not about black or white, okay? It's about everybody, and we're all in this together. So, Pat Fryerman, I told you I would answer your question, correct? With that being said, that was my long-winded version, or my answer to you of what I meant when I said perception is reality. Make sense? Thank you.